Do you ever feel like you were born unlucky? Or maybe you were told by a fortune teller that you're destined to have a hard life, and slowly, without even realizing it, you begin to slip into a victim mindset, feeling more and more unhappy with your life. If that resonates with you, please stay with me until the end, because this video may completely shift how you understand bad fate, how you see destiny, and ultimately how you shape your life. Let me share this with you through my own story. I once heard a master, someone who studied both Buddhism and Western psychology, say this: a life of inner work is in itself a great blessing. He said most people don't actually receive this blessing. They don't get to live a life of deep inner growth and awakening. When I first heard that, I was stunned, because my life had been hard, painfully hard. I had very few moments that felt like real enjoyment. So I asked myself, how could this possibly be a blessing? The people society usually calls fortunate seem to have everything: good health, stable relationships, loving families, successful careers, financial security. Isn't that what most of us spend our entire lives chasing? And me, I had almost none of it. Whether I looked at my life through Eastern or Western metaphysical systems, my chart always pointed to struggle. It felt like my life was never meant for enjoyment. I tried to reprogram myself. I worked on my mindset. I tried to accept this fate, to let go of resistance. As a Chinese saying goes, what is meant to be yours will come. What isn't cannot be forced. I'm not saying I accepted a bad fate. I was doing my best to escape poverty. But honestly, I had been fighting destiny for far too long. After more than half a century of fighting, I knew how exhausting that battle was. It slowly drains your will, leaving behind a quiet fatigue and a sadness that's hard to put into words. Eventually, I realized something important. Fighting destiny isn't the way. What truly helps is learning how to work with life, to flow with it, instead of constantly pushing against it. For a long time, I believed I was here just to repay karmic debts, to suffer. Then that same master offered another explanation. Coming here to repay karma is actually one of the greatest blessings. Again, I was stunned. How could this be? How could suffering be a blessing? Here was his explanation. When you go through hardship consciously, you are actively clearing negative karma and moving toward more positive karma. He compared blessings to a bank account. Every time you enjoy comfort or ease, it's like withdrawing from that account. If someone only enjoys life, but never contributes kindness, awareness, or inner growth back into it, their balance eventually runs out. And when that happens, whether in this lifetime or the next, life becomes harder, not as punishment, but as an opportunity to rebuild inner wealth. In Western astrology terms, it's like recalibrating the karmic scale of your life, bringing it back into balance. When that scale is off for too long, life naturally feels heavy. That was the moment I finally understood why the master said, a life of inner work is the greatest blessing. So now I'm doing the work to rebalance my karmic scale, and I feel blessed to have been given the chance to do so. Does that perspective bring you a little relief? If this still doesn't resonate, here's another perspective that may help. I've heard it said that people who seem unlucky are actually deeply favored by the universe. Yes, you heard that right. Those the world sees as unlucky may actually be the universe's favorites, the chosen ones. Isn't that ironic? The same life, seen through completely different lenses, from a higher perspective. Whether you call it God, the universe, or source, the focus isn't just this one lifetime. It's the growth of the soul across many lifetimes. Maybe I chose, or was chosen, to walk a path of deep inner transformation in this lifetime, and maybe those who seem lucky right now are here to enjoy because they've already done this work in a previous life. If you believe in reincarnation, honestly, thinking this way brought me a lot of peace. How about you? I was never jealous of people with easier lives. I was simply grieving what I believed was my own bad fate. So you might be wondering, am I absolutely destined to live an unhappy life? This next perspective may bring you some relief. I once heard a credible fortune teller say this: Birth charts and destiny systems are not 100% fixed. They're more like weather forecasts, helpful but not absolute. From my own experience, they can be deeply insightful, not as fatalism, but as a way of co-creating with life through conscious choice. Think of your birth chart or bazi like a GPS. It shows your tendencies, your life themes, your blind spots, but awareness gives you options. When you're prepared, when you act consciously, you can make wiser choices rather than blindly following a destined path. As the saying goes, choices matter more than effort. This is the perspective I personally prefer. In Chinese philosophy, what we call yin is shaped partly by forces beyond us and partly by our choices, what the West calls free will. I've seen people born into difficult circumstances who still transform their lives. Their starting conditions weren't ideal, but their inner seeds were strong. They had clarity, resilience, and the capacity to act. That's why there's another Chinese saying, you may not be able to change your fate, but you can change your path. There are many factors that shape our fate: personality, genetics, talents, limitations, family background, and the era we're born into. But we can choose how we respond to life. We can refine our character, strengthen awareness, make wiser decisions, and over time, those choices slowly reshape our life. Maybe not completely, but very meaningfully. Being in the right place, at the right time, with the right people, greatly increases our chances. So no, you are not powerless. I hope my sharing helps you stop blaming yourself and release the victim identity. Fate may shape the conditions we're born into, but our choices shape the life we live, and what we call blessings are slowly built through integrity, awareness, and conscious living. Start by understanding your true self. Know your strengths and your limits. Move with life, not against it. And with wisdom and intention, create a life that truly feels like yours. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Your words might light the way for someone who's struggling. If this video resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who may need it. Be blessed. Stay blessed.